times, everything is expected to be straight. It's like it seems wrong way.
It's called James. I host this news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience, ladies and gentlemen, my dear fellow brothers and sisters, and fellow citizens of the United States. Welcome to the East-West Show. I'd say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. However, regardless where you are, you really have to pay attention of what we're talking about today, because today I have the honor of being visited by one of the most loved politicians for almost 3 decades, the Honorable Michael Antonovich, former LA County Supervisor, here to be with us. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack, and good morning.
Thank you. As a LA County Supervisor, he had to put up altogether 28 glorious years?
Well, we have Los Angeles County, 10 million people, and we have 88 cities. Los Angeles City is just one of our 88 cities. And supervisors, there are 5 who govern that area, including all of the cities in various issues. Only land use is done by each respective city. However, there are 134 communities that don't have a city, and we are the mayor, and we govern all of their growth and their development.
Thank you very much. Take me myself, for example. I've been in this country for almost 40 years. Shortly after I came here, Honorable Michael Antonovich, became the mayor of LA County. And since then, the image of Michael Antonovich, the Honorable, has always been there, the supervisor, until we never thought of having somebody change, replacing the position until the issue of term out.
Term limits.
Yeah. I said, he needs to step down, right? So until that moment. So we still miss you.
Thank you. I miss it too.
I mean a lot.
Thank you.
I mean a lot. So, as a long-time politician, especially as a non-partisan politician, I really have to talk to you because I am so confused. I'm confused with what's going on, what's happening in the United States now. I do understand that we have a system that we allow political disagreement, that we have parties who fight all the time or argue all the time, right? We never agree or disagree on one thing forever. Those are the political norm. But seldom have I seen anything of what I see today. So, sir, what's happening now?
Well, we're now in a state of anarchy.
Anarchy.
People are taking the law into their hands, destroying property. We're losing lives, and they're trying to gain political power. But our system was based upon a political power through an election and discourse. And if we did not like something, we could change the law. If it's federal, we could have a constitutional amendment. And as a result of that, we could get along. But today, I think the Marxists want to bring the Red Guard to the United States. So we're seeing a lot of their same behavior taking place. Instead of, if a statue is not liked, then you could go through the city council, the board of supervisors, the board of commissioners, or the United States Congress, state legislature, and change it. But you just can't go out and tear it down and endanger other people. Now they don't like certain words, so they're changing the vocabulary. That is crazy. In a free society, our society is based upon liberty, not control. Freedom of speech, not eliminating political free speech, but having political correctness. People losing their job because of something they may have said 20 years ago. It is
It's
crazy.
kind of a farce, kind of a melee,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Right? Okay. Now, I do understand. You're talking about, of course, if you dislike something, you can vote to overturn it, right? You can go through the democratic procedure to do it. But what's so hard to understand is that they did go through the procedure. I'll give you an example. In the city of Charleston of North Carolina, they voted as a resolution to topple down their city monument. You want to know the vote? That's a 13 against 0. Now, we are talking about democracy. We're talking about leadership, though. What if the 13 of them going unanimously one way towards one thing? That's so scary to me, sir.
Very.
Have anything in the past in your political career seen anything here in Los Angeles County, in California, or even in the United States of America?
One, for example, our county, Los Angeles County's genesis was in the San Gabriel Valley, and the people started with the San Gabriel mission, which just burnt down this past week, and we don't know who started the fire. That's under investigation right now. Well, on our seal of the county, we had the mission as one of the symbols, and there was a cross on the mission. Well, the ACLU, which I always called the Atheist Criminal Liberties Union, they sued to take the cross down. That cross was taken down because of that lawsuit and because of a judicial decision. However, since that time, the courts have ruled that is not an infringement of mandating religion. It's a historical fact, reporting a historical fact that occurred. So if the Board of Supervisors wanted to, they ought to reintroduce a motion and put it back on the church as it was. And we had support from the Jewish community, the Muslim community, the Christian community, that it should be historical. That's what we were talking about. So there have always been attempts to change the history of the United States with symbols or whatever. Now we have a mass movement to destroy everything. They even destroyed Frederick Douglass, who was an abolitionist, African American, who was one of the great admirers of Abraham Lincoln, and whom Abraham Lincoln called him his close friend. They put his statue down. They tore it down. They poured blood on it, etc. He was for freedom. He was for liberty for all people. That's what's so stupid. What we need to do is get back to respecting history and changing history, but we need to understand we have to learn from history.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Thank you very much. You mentioned history because it's been a subject that's been bothering me a lot, right? History is always the thing that we learn from. And the purpose of learning from history is because we do not want history to repeat, right? In our history, there was a part of dark page of slavery. We want to let the monument of slavery stand there, keep it as a warning. Say, hey, once we were so wrong. We were so ashamed of ourselves. To tell your kid to remember that page. Do you think history could function that way? Or, like what we did in the Cultural Revolution, we tore down Confucius statue. No Lao Tzu, no Mozi, no temples, no Buddha, everything, because that's not a revolution. So do you see similarity, please, my dear sir?
Many parallels from the Red Guard to what's taking place today with the Antifa, with the Bolsheviks that are trying to have, revolution in the streets, occupying city buildings, attacking city halls, attacking the courts,
Yeah.
the federal court, the state courts. This is complete revolution, and they just want to have power. And once they're in power, like in the French Revolution, then they start cutting off the heads, and it's getting to that level where people are no longer respecting one another regardless
right.
of views.
You're right.
But they're trying to kill one another because
You're
of
right.
their
You're
views.
right. Take Seattle, for example.
Yes.
Take Seattle, for example. It is not they have a right or wrong leadership. It is no leadership at all.
None.
All right. However, things were going in a way as if it is led by somebody behind, right? I learned from a non-confirmed sources to the demonstrators, they are getting paid.
Yes, they are.
They pay $200 per day, $15 to $20 per hour for what they do. So I know that the Cultural Revolution with Mao Zedong was the one behind. Right? He motivated it, he initiated it, but right now, who is behind us? Who is behind the United States in the movement?
Well, George Soros, who's a billionaire, has been putting a lot of money in these groups, these organizations.
Let's take a moment out. I really want you to stretch it out
Okay.
when we come back. All right, my dear friend, today is the honor of the whole team of the me and my team that we are being visited by one of the very mostly loved politicians of United States. In LA County, we're talking about Honorable Michael Antonovich. So let's take a break. We will come back right away, please.
It's called James. I host the English news every morning.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely brothers, sisters. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West. Today, especially honored by the visit of former supervisor of LA County, Honorable Michael Antonovich. Yes, sir. Welcome again to the show.
Thank you.
Very good. We were at the point talking about who is behind it, right? So I would like to stretch out, unroll the whole thing to see what's exactly being pushed. If somebody is paying, who is somebody? Okay, why is the somebody paying? Number two, where does the money come from? That's a lot of money. You're talking about thousands of, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of protesters. You're talking about 200 per day though. You're talking about tons of money. So,
Millions.
what could that be, sir?
Well, George Soros, who is a billionaire, has put a lot of his funds into these front organizations, these groups. It's called Open Society. In Los Angeles County, we have a very good district attorney, Jackie Lacey, African-American lady. She's being attacked because they want to have a new district attorney, formerly from San Francisco, who wants to keep everybody out of jail, those who commit crimes, and want to basically create havoc. And they're putting money in to defeat Jackie Lacey in the election, which will be in November. Eric Mann, who was started the bus riders union and that used to shut down the transit, he was served prison time as a member of the Weatherman, the SDS, the Weatherman for violence. He is the mentor of the organizer, co-chair of the Black Lives Movement, BLM, organizing, a Marxist. And they're talking about revolution. They're talking about changing the economic system. They're talking about taking power away from elected officials, and basically it's like power from the barrel of a gun. We are a nation of liberty, not control. We are a nation where people can achieve their dreams, not keeping everybody in a serf position. We are a nation of opportunity. We have successful people in every ethnic background. What I always find wonderful, we have people who came from China, coming here, from Vietnam, coming from Africa. They come with nothing. They educate their children, and their educated children are now our doctors, our lawyers, our educators, our business leaders, and doing an incredible job and helping their children be educated.
And they reach their excellency. Yes.
We have opportunity. These people want to control everything and deny you the opportunities. They will determine who will be the special people. And it's just like under communism. Communism was going to spread the wealth for everybody, but all the big houses are owned by the communists, and the people are still looking for their homes. They're out, in the rice fields.
With the big shots of the big names that you mentioned just now, and by looking around what's happening though, I do smell some Marxism.
Yes.
I do smell some communism.
Yes.
Right, and but why they do so?
Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, as Lord Acton once said, the philosophical Englishman in the 1800s. I always like to say the middle letter of sin is I. Self-centeredness, selfishness. People just want to control. And a great book was written, you may have read it, most of our kids have read, Animal Farm by George Orwell. It's where all the animals bitch and moan and complain about the farmer, so they get rid of the farmer, and all of a sudden the pigs who become the leaders are getting all the advantages and more that the farmer had, and all the animals said, hey, what's going on here? And then the pigs wrote on the farm wall, some animals are more equal than others. Some animals are more equal than others. Now you have, we in power are more equal. So we do deserve extra food. We deserve an extra large home. We deserve extra privileges. Just feed us. Just give it to us, and we don't give a damn about you. And you find that in totalitarian countries under communism. Hitler was a socialist. He was trying to keep everything for himself and kill other people, which he killed millions. So what the United States was able to create was a country. We were not perfect at first. Nobody says we were, but we had a system that would allow change, that would allow amendments. And we had a system that we did get rid of slavery. There was a civil war, 600,000 were killed, defending freedom. After that war, over 2,000 African Americans were elected to Congress, the state legislatures, the city councils, the board of supervisors.
Yeah, exactly.
Then what happened? The Democrat Party at the time was the party of slavery. Abraham Lincoln, he started a new party, the Republican Party, of abolition, of freedom. So after that, the Republicans were in control of the South with the troops, and that's where we started having the freedoms. Well, then what happened? President Lincoln was assassinated. Johnson, who replaced him, was a segregationist. So then they start putting in Jim Crow laws, intimidating the blacks. Actually, the lynchings, more radical Republicans were lynched than blacks that were lynched. So they were lynching all these people. Well, finally, what happens, Republicans pass some legislation to create certain rights and privileges for all people. We had the federal workforce integrated. Woodrow Wilson got elected president. He was a segregationist. He eliminated the integration of the federal workforce. So they went back to separate toilets and restrooms for blacks versus non-black. Okay. Then we start getting civil rights laws, the 54 civil rights, the last one was the 64. The Republican Party was in the minority. The man who was given the recognition by the NAACP, the Roy Wilkins Award, was Senator Everett Dirksen of Illinois, the minority leader, and more Republicans than Democrats voted for that in the House and the Senate. The first Republican senator in modern times that was elected from North Carolina, Jesse Helms, he was the first senator from the South to integrate his staff. Margaret Evers, who was a civil rights leader who was assassinated, his brother was one of his aides and still is involved. In fact, he's involved with President Trump's campaign now. The point was, when Senator Everett Dirksen, I should say Senator Strom Thurmond was elected, first he was a segregationist. Then he ran he was a Democrat, then a Dixiecrat. Then he became a Republican, repudiated all that. He integrated his staff. The lawyer for the Ku Klux Klan was appointed to the Supreme Court by Franklin Roosevelt. That was Justice Hugo Black. The wizard of the Klan, Senator Byrd of West Virginia, he was considered a hero by the Democrats. And when he died, they were all there giving him farewell. But the point was, we have fought the Klan. We have fought the racism. And that's the problem today. We're getting back to creating a separate system. They want to now pass a state law to deny opportunities to go to colleges and make it now racial because
ACA 5, yes.
Too many Asians are going to college.
Yeah, that's ACA
we
5.
We need more going to college, but we need more of everybody.
You're right, you're
but
right.
You don't want to lower expectation because you want your doctor to be one who just went there because of his color, not because of his skill.
Because merit.
Right, it's merit.
Because merit.
Yes.
Yes, okay. I'm so glad that you link this whole thing together with ACA 5, which is Proposition 16 the other day we discussed about.
Yes.
However, before we touch that part though, try to follow your whole statement though. Am I right if I say, looking back into the history that much, we do not find a trace of racial discrimination. However, we find a trace of a political empowerment instead.
Political empowerment.
Right? So exactly like the little video clip that my friend sent me via WeChat showing a black felon being captured by a black cop and in a court being heard by a black judge and with a defense attorney also being black. So where is discrimination?
In the cities that are burning up today are all under Democrat control, and African Americans are serving in chiefs of police, mayors, council members. So they are involved. But there are, like some of the black police chiefs, they're complaining that the city won't allow them to enforce the law.
Oh, no, that's not
That's
the name
crazy.
of it.
That's
That's not the
crazy.
name of the game.
Yeah.
If we had been that discriminative racially,
Right.
did we just finish President Obama's 8
Yes.
years?
8 years?
So during the 8 years, did we say overthrown Obama because he was black?
No.
All right, my dear friend, let's take another moment out. It looks like we're getting there. It is not that much of a discrimination of racial, but kind of a political empowerment. Well, so stay with us, please.
Continue to work on it now.
My name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. I'm getting excited because it looks that we're talking about digging a gold mine. We're almost there. With me digging or help me digging is my dear friend, a friend to the entire community, our former beloved mayor of LA County, Honorable Mike Antonovich. Sir, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Good to be back.
And thank you for enlightening me to the digging. I thought that we had been that much racially discriminative. As a matter of fact, we do have good examples or evidence or ample examples to indicate that we're not that much. Right. What does happen, what we do see instead is the political empowerment, is the dogfight behind. So back to your point, with the issue of how it is politically related to your selection of the social elite to be further educated in college, in universities, so as to be leaders of this country, we do have a big argument, such as a Proposition 16, which is a which is previously the ACA 5, right? How do you see these are related?
They're related because the liberals, not the traditional liberal, but the progressive liberals, want to be in a position of selecting people regardless of merit to key positions or admissions to schools. We need to encourage our students to study so they can achieve and go to continue their education. And we have a number of community colleges. You can go and prepare for the four-year university. We have a number of private universities and institutions that allow people to enroll and become achieve your dreams. Well, the power structure says, no. We want to select who goes, and not on their basis of their scores or their abilities, but more on a political basis. Those are the seeds for destruction. As I said, when you go to the dentist, you want a person who is going to provide dental care, not one who is there because he was a friend of somebody and got in and got his degree.
And it would exactly one of the quota of that race.
Yeah, one of the quota, or you're in an ER situation, emergency room for your life, you want a quality doctor to give you the care, and not somebody that is there for a quota that really doesn't do the job that well, but fit a quota.
Same thing with the Lakers. You need players, right?
Absolutely.
You need top players.
Absolutely. So now are the Lakers supposed to have one Asian, one Caucasian, one Hispanic, one African American, and one of their choice?
Don't forget others.
Yes.
And there's also others.
And others.
And others.
Yeah,
and then, are you still call that a Laker?
Yes.
Or a club? Right? Something like that.
A club.
And you're talking, another example could be NASA. Let's talk about NASA group.
Yes.
Like say Mars mission.
Yes.
You have 1%, one Asian, one black, whatsoever, to make a mix of a salad, or what?
You need to have for opportunity and qualification, not for political numbers.
However, I used to separate these two issues, right? The first issues we're talking about, the melee, the anarchy we're talking about of right now. And the second is the issue that we're talking about, the concept of having created such a resolution or such a proposition, number 16, I used to separate them. Now that it looks that they are interconnected. Am I right?
It's crazy. We're living in an upside down world today. Upside down world.
It's a craziness.
Yes. Yes. And it's really doing a disservice to our youth that are going to come up and replace us and provide the leadership that's so necessary if we are going to continue to be a country helping all people, regardless of race, color, or creed. You know, they always point out, in the wars we've been in, basically, after the war we give the countries back. We don't keep them. Europe is free today. Germany is free today. Japan is free today.
Yeah.
You know, it's and they're trading partners. We trade back and forth. We visit there. They visit here. We study in their schools. They come here and study in our schools. That's the type of cooperation we want to have. Now with this revolution going on, they're going to go back to the old ways where it's the government that makes all the decisions and controls.
They want the power.
Instead of the emperor or the king, here it's the people. And they want to go back to a system where it's the emperor or the king making, and they're going to be the emperor, they're going to be the king, not everybody having an opportunity to be the king. That's totalitarianism, that's socialism. They want to, instead of having equal opportunity, they want to keep everybody equality poor.
In other words, in between who be the king.
Right.
Right.
And the one with the gun has the right to be the king.
All right.
So they want to take away your guns,
now
but
it
they're
looks
keeping
that
their guns.
now it looks that they are going back to playing the old game.
Yes.
Say, let me be the king.
Yes.
You're not.
You're absolutely right.
All right. Okay. Now, in other words, I'm not wrong calling it is the what's behind the scene is the political empowerment. They want to grasp the power. Yeah. They want to be the king of this nation. Am I right?
Right. And one of the problems I have right now with these quarantines, you come here, you invest, you open up a flower shop. You hire your wife, your kids, or you hire the neighbor that works there. The government comes in and says, you got to close. No, quarantine. Oh, okay, everybody closes. You go to Ralph's or Vaughn's, the markets, they're selling the same flowers. So you can buy your flowers there.
Yeah, you're
now,
right.
If the flower person has to close, why can Vaughn's, Ralph's, and the other markets sell flowers? You open up a little store, you sell clothing. Oh, you got to close. You still have rent to pay, you still have all these bills, but no, that you can't, you're not working. But if you're Walmart or Costco, you're selling clothes, you're selling all these same goods. They can open, they can sell, but the entrepreneur, he can't. That's not fair. And we had nobody speaking up for the small business people. Those are jobs, that's our economy. And when they say, well, the stock market's now going up, all of the workers, all your 401s, 457, your government pension plans, they are invested in the stock so that there'll be money tomorrow to pay you. If that market goes down, your retirement goes down.
They're the one who suffer first.
Yeah, yes.
All right,
yeah.
okay.
But as they're doing this, those people are still getting their salary every week or every month. Those government officials are still being paid, and the people are starving, and they're saying, well, you just have to starve.
The same example could be found anywhere.
Yes.
If you recall the financial tsunami of 2008, right?
Yes.
Everybody closed. Everybody's down.
Yes.
Except those big firms who are
Yes.
quote unquote too big to be down.
Yes.
Right? You know what happened? With the government money, they survive.
Yes.
They continue doing the same thing
Right.
they do.
Right.
And we, investors, who are the blood of the money,
Right.
we die ourselves,
Right.
we dry on the street.
Right.
So the same thing, same example.
Right.
So now the power protects only certain people, not average people. Am I right?
Like some animals are more equal than others.
All right.
Like
all
going
right,
back
okay,
to George Orwell's Animal.
And back to you, your statement. The center letter of a sin is I. Look at what we see now. Everything is I. iPhone, iPad, iChat, that I whatsoever, on and on.
That's a very good connection.
Yeah, ourselves, we are taught that way, and our kids are taught that way. Everybody, everything's centered, right? And now, on the other hand, with the ACA 5, you don't have to work hard.
Right.
Yeah, as long as you hold your eye.
Yes.
Remember, you belong to the 12%.
Yes.
All right, you have a quota.
Yes.
The quota will take care of you.
Yes.
So you be a doctor, you be a NASA researcher or
Yeah.
whoever, or even the Laker player,
Yes.
because your quota.
Yes.
takes care of it. And then next thing is that we want power. We want to be the king. You're not.
Yes.
So let's go out on the street. Let's demonstrate. Let's burn some cars. Let's overthrow some statues.
You can't go out. You stay in your house, but you're free to go out and demonstrate and do destruction.
No, you're not free. You're getting paid.
But, yeah, no, they're being paid, right? But you have to stay in,
Yeah.
and you can't go out. And another stupid policy. Okay, you can go to the beach, but you can't park at the beach. Well, how are people going to go to the beach if they can't park?
To walk for 20 miles?
The only ones who are able to go to the beach are the people that live across the street from the beach or can walk over there. But the people who don't live next to the beach, they can't.
All right, my dear friend. It's getting funnier. Let's take another moment out. When we come back, we want to wrap it up with everything happening in front of us. We want to see how we want to conclude it. Is that a overthrow of the system, or is that going oncoming quote unquote cultural revolution as once we experienced it in China, or something else? So stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
My name is Paul James. I host the English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely brothers, sisters, my dear fellow citizens of the United States of America. Speaking of America, we're talking about exactly, we're at a very, very, very critical moment that we really have to pay attention about how we want to call this lovely country we call it home. Used to be under this beautiful flag of democracy, total freedom. Used to be with equality when everybody was born equal. It used to be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we have Christians raised here, there, everywhere, questioning these definitions, right? Today with me is my dear friend, also a dear friend to the whole community for at least 3 decades, former county mayor, county supervisor of Los Angeles, Honorable Michael Antonovich, who is sharing his thought with us to get to the answers that I raise. Once again, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You mentioned a good example, which is hilarious example of going to beach, right? Without driving a car, how we want to go to the beach, how we can't go to the beach. Say we're in Monterey Park, you're in Pasadena. How do you want to go to the beach without a car?
Right.
Right? So is that your wife going to drive you to the beach and then come back and leave you on the beach and come back to pick you up without parking the car on the beach?
Or they want you can go to the park, but there's no parking for the park. So how are you going to get to the park unless you drive? Right? I mean,
why don't they go to the origin of the word parking? It started with a park.
Our elected officials who are like sheep following one another instead of providing some leadership and saying, wait a minute, that doesn't, if it's going to be this way, it has to be for everyone. Be it the small stores, then they have to be treated, the big stores have to be treated like the small stores. You can't just separate the bigs and let them benefit and keep these poor people with their little businesses going bankrupt. When you have, we're being told fresh air is very good for you. We should go out, we should walk, etc. Okay, to do that, you have to get to that destination to enjoy the beach and walk around. And you can still be spaced. You can still be there without being on top of one another. The same way with the parks. You can still be there without being a mob. Well, they're saying, no, you can't do that. But if you want to get a mob and demonstrate and protest, that's okay. No problem. And you're not going to spread any diseases because you're in a mob, and that's a mob that we
When I
approve
look
of.
at the demonstrators, they are closer to each other in a shorter distance, at least than 3 feet.
Yes.
They're almost shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, and many times they are shoulder.
Yeah. All right. So, and
That's a hypocrisy that is
yeah.
wrong.
Am I right? Am I right? If I say it is not that what you can do, what you cannot do, in spite of the period of the pandemic, it is who made the first voice. I mean, the politicians. I want to make the first voice. I want to be the loudest,
Yes.
so that I'm recognized.
Right.
Right? Such as back in some country when there's a big flood, right? Some leaders say, hey, we ought to take human life first. Oh, he was the first one said that. Wow, there goes applauses over there. So before he said that, are we taking human life second?
They are taking human life second, yes.
Right? So now we're talking about in the pandemic, we'll keep ourselves in social distancing, which is quite as a resolution whatsoever. So why they lose that to demonstration?
Because it's the political power. They want to take control and have the demonstrations destroy the system. And then they will step in and be the new system.
There must be benefit they could enjoy after a system is crashed.
They want it to crash so they will be in power and have no competition. And they will protect their power through their independent security, and everybody else's individual security has been taken away from them. When Hitler came in, first thing he did was take away the guns from the people. The communists like to, in a communist country, you don't have the right to own a weapon. In Switzerland, they wear their rifle on their shoulder because they all serve in the military. And Switzerland is a very.
But that's
free
another
country.
issue, another day though.
Yes.
We're talking about the fact with everything so far happening, people like you, like me, myself, especially who has been experienced what the Cultural Revolution means in China, who gets so especially scared. What are we supposed to do? Is there anything we can do?
We need to, if we have public officials that are not responding, recall them or vote them out of office. They have to be replaced. And if a chief of police will not, or sheriff will not enforce the law, work to replace them.
Vote them out.
Vote them out. Vote them out. Don't vote them in. Some people say this, a lot of this is because people want, President Trump was doing so well economically. We had the lowest unemployment rate for Asians, African Americans, Hispanics, everybody. We were really a strong economy. They didn't want him to win re-election. Well, that's stupid. Outvote him. Don't shut down the country to try and vote him out. Do it the right way. And they tried to remove him from office the day he got elected. Then they had people spying on his campaign, etc. That's crazy. That's what you do in a totalitarian country, not in a free country. You vote him out and you do the issues.
Give your example, Michael, myself, right? If you recall shows that you and I did many, many years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I was pretty much on the left. I myself, right? After seeing that much, after seeing what we have done, to be honest speaking, after the moment the Supreme Court made a decision of the same-sex marriage, I started to shift myself. Right. Oh, by the way, when I say express myself, including exposing my political stand or take, I represent only myself. It doesn't do with the organization, and neither does it with the show itself. okay, myself. Since that moment on, I started to lose my confidence, right? And then when I started seeing politically right, on and on and on and on, I started to have realized a picture in front of me, what to do, what not to do. I told myself, okay, Jack, you are so limited. There are always a limit at what you cannot do. But focus on what you can do. What I can do is that what I can do to control myself to not do the wrong thing. Right? So back to the point. Now, I can't say somebody out of office, somebody in office. I'm not that big yet. Right? I can at least vote somebody in, vote somebody out. So could that be the same encouragement that I encourage my audience to do exactly what Jack Chow is doing?
Yes. The power to vote. Exercise your right to vote. Through that vote, you can change in a peaceful manner the policies that you like, the policies you dislike.
All right. And lucky me, yesterday 2 days ago in the show, I called upon my friends to vote no on proposition number 16.
Absolutely.
Right. And I believe, according to my friend Michael Antonovich, Honorable Michael Antonovich, I did the right thing.
The right thing.
And I want to still do the same right thing. I want to vote to keep somebody in office. I want to also vote to get somebody out of office. And who is somebody? So your personal preference, you know who you like, who you do not like.
Yes.
All right. Okay, my dear friend, my lovely audiences, I would give you the last 1.5 minutes to wrap up, because we people really need the guidance that we miss.
Well, there's an attack on the family today. People want to basically remove the children from be governed by the state, not by their parents. They want to do away with genders. So a little boy, you can't say you're a boy or you can't say you're a girl. They have a neutral, which is crazy. You have
LGBT,
yeah, QT.
there's a Q,
QT.
and there's an R,
Right.
and there's an A being added.
Right. But children are children. They need strong fathers, strong mothers. They need strong support system. And again, the parents need to be involved with their children. See what they're learning in school. Speak up if they're getting the wrong information. Very, very important. Foster children need mentors. A lot of children don't have a father. Volunteer to be a mentor. Help them, be it in the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, all kinds of community organizations. Help these young boys and girls so they can grow up to be productive citizens instead of a criminal and creating a problem for society. Very, very important. Get involved in your community, get involved in your church, get involved with your neighborhood, your association, and be a voice of reason and respecting people of all colors, races, and creeds. We all have the same colored blood. We're all creatures of God. Let's respect one another. We can have differences, disagree, but we're still friends. And move on.
All right,
That's
okay.
the way I was taught. And I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and that's what my parents taught me.
Thank you very much.
And we need to have parents teaching their children. And the best gift you can give your child, time.
All right. That concludes the show for today. My dear friends, my lovely audience, today me and my team are especially honored by the visit by our former mayor of LA County, Honorable Michael Antonovich. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you. All right.